Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Thursday's edition of the Doctor Who Daily. Yes, the brand new Doctor announcement is imminent, I've been told, and one of the reasons I know this for a fact is because yesterday it was announced that Jodie Whittaker has finished her tenure as the Doctor, and I'm not going to stand here and say hooray and be an arsehole about it, because I know a lot of you watching this video will love Jodie's Doctor. That's okay. She hasn't been my Doctor thus far. She still could become my Doctor. Normally I fall in love with the Doctors in their final seasons. Don't ask me why. Always happens. Never really happened with Capaldi. I respect Capaldi as a great Doctor, but he was never my Doctor. I just didn't get into him. But I did get into Eccleston, McGann, Tennant, Smith in their final seasons. Well, not McGann. I got into him in his movie. But you know what I mean. So, Jodie Whittaker wraps filming her final Doctor Who episodes. Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill have officially wrapped on their final episodes of Doctor Who, marking the end of the 13th Doctor's era by Thomas Bacon. Yeah, there's been this kind of guessing game if Mandip Gill would continue. I don't think she will. I think, listen, you know, the BBC have already called Russell T Davies a freelancer, and basically saying all his views are his own, they're nothing to do with us. I love the way these people try and, but at the end of the day, Russell T Davies and the BBC have nothing to do with each other. Not even now he's running Doctor Who again, because I've explained that to you. You know, basically, Bad Wolf Productions, if you're new to this channel and these videos, has wrestled control from the BBC, and basically now they've finished with the Jodie era and the Chris Chibnall era. The BBC will just be collecting the cash until they eventually sell the IP to Sony, or they will slowly give credits away to Sony. It will be a slow, progressive movement. This is what's going to happen. The BBC are in a bit of trouble and they need all the money they can get. Especially because in the end, the government is going to basically get rid of the licence fee. We know that. So this is by Thomas Bacon of Screen Rant, as I've already said, I think. Jodie Whittaker has filmed her final scenes as the Doctor. In Doctor Who, Jodie Whittaker made history when she was cast as the first female Doctor, and she starred for a period of intense change for the show. Doctor Who Season 12 built to climax with the reveal the Doctor is not a Time Lord at all, but rather she is the Timeless Child. Well, you know, she still is a Time Lord, because Tek Tae Yoon, I nearly got the name wrong, Tek Tae Yoon created the Time Lords by cloning them with the Doctor's DNA. So that society still exists. The Doctor's still a Time Lord. She just doesn't originate from Gallifrey, and she comes from a mystery world. A being who potentially predates the existence of the universe itself. I mean, that's a fascinating concept for me. And who became the base genetic code for all Gallifreyans who lived within the Citadel. But change is an integral part of Doctor Who. This is the way they justify everything. Right, Doctor Who is an integral part. You know, change is an integral part of Doctor Who. But you can't keep on changing things every 5 minutes just because change is an integral part of Doctor Who. You've got to have some consistency. Russell had consistency. In fact, Russell's universe didn't change that much. It was very consistent. That's why it was popular. The problem was when Moffat came in, he changed it so dramatically, it took us such a long time to get into it. Ever since William Hartnell regenerated into Patrick Troughton in 1966, Jodie Whittaker's time as the Doctor is coming to an end with an abbreviated 6-episode season, 13 that will kick off on October the 31st, followed by a trilogy of specials in 2022. The first will air on New Year's Day 2022, the second in spring, and the third in fall, as part of the BBC's centenary celebrations. This will likely end in a regeneration scene, with Whittaker transforming into the as yet unrevealed 14th Doctor. Now, there has to be a regeneration now, surely, because she's just shot her last scenes. If she's truly shot her last scenes, then she's not going to be leading the, you know, the 60th anniversary. So she's going to have to figure. She's got to be part of the celebrations. I mean, she's not my Doctor at the moment. I'm not into her that much, but you have to include her. The BBC has taken to Twitter to confirm Jodie Whittaker has wrapped filming on Doctor Who, along with Mandip Gill, who plays her companion Yaz. Interestingly, there's no comment about John Bishop's new companion, Dan, which might suggest he's only in Doctor Who season 13. Alternatively, perhaps he'll be filming more seasons, continuing as a companion when the Whittaker era has come to an end. Yes, John Bishop could have actually been chosen and cast by Russell T Davies because he knew he was coming on. Maybe John Bishop has a future. Very interesting. So that's the picture the Doctor Who social media team put together. And look, I think it's great. I think, look, Jodie and Mandip are great girls. I think they're talented. I don't have any issues with them. The only issues I have with the era they're involved in are with their showrunner. His creative bankruptcy. We know that Chris has ability, but it hasn't worked out, and it's a shame. I feel, you look at them there in that picture, and you can only feel nice things for them and a sadness for them, but also they look happy that they've completed it and they're showing something to the fans. So I'm not going to shit on that, because I think that would be an arsehole move, because I respect the fact that there's people out there, some of you out there love these two as the Doctor and the companion, and I'm not going to be negative about them. Jodie Whittaker's tenure as the Doctor has been controversial in large part because it's been linked so prominently with showrunner Chris Chibnall. His first season lacked a central storyline yet, and consequently felt oddly incomplete. And season 12's timeless child reveal proved incredibly divisive. Yeah, understatement among the fan base. Still, Doctor Who season 13 will play to Chibnall's strengths because the 6 episodes will feature a single overarching narrative. Now, Screen Rant are actually right here. It does play to his strengths because this is what Broadchurch did, and Broadchurch worked. So I think it's a shame he just didn't do that throughout his whole tenure, just work on one story a season. I think that would have worked. That's what he should have done in season 11. I don't understand Chibnall with Doctor Who. I suppose because Doctor Who is personal to Russell and to Stephen and to Chris. Maybe sometimes these are fans who just make mistakes, and maybe we would make the same mistakes if we were showrunners as Doctor Who fans. So hopefully this will be an improvement. Nothing is yet known about next year's Doctor Who specials, but it's reasonable to assume the centenary special ends in a regeneration, which may well mean the next Doctor was on set to film their scenes alongside Whittaker. Yeah, this is interesting. Of course, listen, she doesn't have to be there for a regeneration. All that basically happens there, because she doesn't actually fucking regenerate, as you can see from the picture. Sorry about that, Screen Rant. So what she can do the movements, and they'll sort her out in VFX, and then eventually, if they haven't cast anyone yet, he or she, or however they kind of represent themselves or identify as, will turn up there. And so maybe nothing's been decided yet, maybe it's about to be done, because they can rebuild that set. But it makes sense, because it's a bit difficult to rebuild sets. You could keep it up, but maybe they need the space for something else. I don't know. Obviously, because I work in the industry, I understand these things. But yeah, it would make sense to me that the new Doctor was there, or maybe he wasn't there then, but he may be doing something today or tomorrow. Or maybe these pictures are a week or two old, so the new Doctor's already done stuff. So it makes sense that they would want to do it while the set's up. So I think they've already chosen the Doctor. This is why I feel that the announcement is coming very, very soon. Hopefully John Bishop will indeed remain. Yeah, I like that guy, so I ain't got a problem with that. It'd be interesting. Remain when the Whittaker era is over. The best regeneration stories have been focused on continuity as well as change, with a companion sticking around to react to the new Doctor. Still, that's probably unlikely in his case, because once Chibnall has departed, Doctor Who is essentially relaunching itself. Yeah, but as I said, I'm predicting that Russell brought him in on purpose. And if he doesn't stay, I'm wrong. We'll have to see. Under returning showrunner Russell T Davies, since 2005's relaunch, showrunners have tended to use their finales to wipe the slate clean so the successor can begin again. And that's likely to happen here as well, yeah. Whatever Russell says about loving Chris, which he does, he calls him his hero, and that's great. But it doesn't mean he actually agrees with what he's done with Doctor Who. And of course he's never going to come out and slaughter the guy. That's professionalism, isn't it? No one publicly should be coming out to, slaughter their friend. It was his vision, it's the way he wanted to do it. As far as us, the fans, are concerned, and a great many of us, not all of us, by the way, we feel he's made these mistakes. But as I've said on many videos, I'm so chilled out about this. So yes, do expect an announcement on a brand new Doctor very quickly. Why will they announce it so quickly, even if they know who it is and they've shot the regeneration scene? Because these things will leak. There's insiders who work on these productions who are itching to reveal pictures, and they don't want these things to leak out. So I think this could be actually announced before season 13 starts. Now, I understand we're not going to see the brand new era of Doctor Who till 2023, but we're going to see the regeneration next year. We're going to meet the new Doctor for a split second or a couple of minutes next year. So this is why this announcement has to come out quickly before it leaks, and this is why they do it quickly. And I think by announcing it now, especially if it's someone good, someone that the public are going to embrace, it will bring people to Jodie's final part, if you like, you know, final season, next year's trilogy. I think it will just make more people excited, like the Russell T Davies announcement was. Now, I don't know. Someone asked me the other day, you know, what I think about David Tennant coming back, and is it possible? Listen, it sounds stupid, it sounds too predictable to be true, but yeah, David could easily return as the next Doctor. I'm not saying that's definite, you know, a thing that's going to happen, but yeah, you know, because as we know, something else I've discussed many times as well is that we do have two versions of David's Doctor, and you know, Russell set all that up. He's even got his own TARDIS, which we didn't actually see. Now, if you see a deleted scene, he's left in something that actually slowly builds up a TARDIS. So the human Metacrisis Doctor actually has got a TARDIS, but he ages, right? He's human, so he's not the Doctor. But that's what I'm saying. We could focus on him. That would, you know, that means that he wouldn't regenerate, but maybe he could lead the 60th anniversary special. Maybe that version of the Doctor is looking for our Doctor. You know, he could do something like that. But there was a Radio Times article with Piers Wenger saying a brief small part about the Russell T Davies 2 era. Well, it took a while, but I found the article. This is interesting. Russell T Davies is a man with a vision, which we already know, of course. That's why most of us are really excited about his return. For new Doctor Who, says BBC drama boss, Russell T Davies will return to replace outgoing showrunner Chris Chibnall in 2023. Head of BBC drama Piers Wenger has described bringing Russell T Davies back as Doctor Who showrunner as one of the least painful decisions he's ever had to make in his career. But really, it's not really your decision to make, is it, Piers? Because he came in with those gangsters and Bad Wolf Productions, you know, I forgot their bloody names now, Jane Tranter, and I forgot the other Welsh lady, and I was talking about her the other day. Anyway, he came in with those two women, Bad Wolf Productions, and wrestled control of Doctor Who away from you. And that's the facts. But of course, if you had the opportunity to bring Russell back, you'd certainly do it. Anyone would. Speaking at a press event on Monday the 11th of October, Wenger said that Davies is a man with a vision for the next iteration of Doctor Who. Something we've spoken about on this show and channel before, isn't it? Following current Doctor Jodie Whittaker's upcoming departure. Asked about why he decided to bring Davies back, the most stupidest questions for Doctor Who's 60th anniversary, Wenger said, I almost think that I don't need to answer that question. I think bringing back Russell for Doctor Who was one of the least painful decisions I've ever had to make. How will he evolve that show? I mean, he's a man with a vision for sure, but you know we are way off filming. We've got a new series starting at the end of the month and a whole year of Jodie Whittaker to go yet. And there's a lot of adventures ahead for her. And so I think it's just a bit early to say what his vision will be, but it was a very exciting opportunity for the BBC to bring him back. Of course it's an exciting opportunity. The man's a fucking genius. He's going to make you money again without you having any authority on the IP, which is everything that us fans want. So that's a very interesting small article there that I thought I would read to you. So Russell T Davies is a man with a vision. But what kind of vision is this? I think, as Piers Wenger said months ago, I think things are dramatically going to change. Now, I don't know what Russell's up to here, but it's like in Superman 4, when someone goes to Lois Lane before Superman addresses the UN. Someone says, what's he going to say? And Lois says, something wonderful. And that's what Russell's going to give us, something wonderful. The man's a fucking sonnet. In his heart, he's a sonnet. He writes sonnets as drama. He's brilliant, but he's not corny. Well, he can be corny, actually, but that's okay. This man represents and includes in the right way. Let me give you an example of how clever this guy was. Do you remember the Age of Steel two-parter in season 2 of Doctor Who? And I'm not sure if Russell wrote that two-part or somebody else did. But do you remember the whole thing with the, the Cyberman giving everyone those pods to put in their ears, and they were linked in directly to the internet? What does that remind you of? What do you think they're trying to say there? Listen, they predicted the future. That's what we're doing now with these things. We're always on the fucking internet. We're always linked in. We go down the pub with our mates and we're looking at our bloody phone. We've become fucking terrible. We've become those idiots, right? We've become those idiots. And I'll talk about the idiot's lantern as well in a minute, because that's another thing, isn't it? We've become plugged in 24/7. That's what that two-parter was trying to warn us about. Then you've got the idiot's lantern. Basically, Mark Gatiss or Gatiss, or however you pronounce his surname, is saying, people who watch telly ultimately are idiots. It's the idiot's lantern. We get sucked in. Ultimately, TV is bad for us, but we love it. It's entertaining. I'd never stop watching TV. I'm a moron as well. And so what happens is, the idiot's lantern, they use that premise to have this alien suck everyone into the screen and become faceless. So Gatiss is, again, trying to give us a pre-warning about technology. Now, obviously, he's a TV writer. He doesn't want you to stop watching TV, but it is a clever way. So these are the kind of things that the Russell T Davies era did. It's kind of more important things than people like Chris Chibnall want to talk about, I think. And if you want to talk about racism and inclusion and stuff like that, like Chibnall wants to, you've got to have the nuance to write about it, because basically Russell T Davies wrote about that stuff in Doctor Who. You just didn't notice it, but it did go in your head. It did change you a little bit. It did make you a better person. When Captain Jack Harkness kisses the Ninth Doctor on the lips, and maybe normally you might have said, oh, I don't like this, I don't want to see this, but at that moment you loved it. You loved it because it was a pure moment, and it made you a better person, and it made you more accepting and understand hating people for their sexuality is such a bad move. I grew up in such a toxic environment in terms of people's views on the LGBTQ community and people with different races, and that went in my mind. But people like Russell T Davies educated me as well as entertained me. So TV and film is important. After stuff I know I learned from telly and films, and I love it. I had my head like this watching a TV as a kid, and I haven't stopped. Because the world between those two bars and that screen was better than the world that my parents had created for me. It's about escapism, but it's also about an education. So when you can do that, like Russell can do and people like Gatiss can do, it just gives, it's brilliant. So you can do messages, give people, positive messaging about racism and different issues, but don't make it a lecture. We've seen that. That's the criticism we've seen from the Chibnall era. Well, Russell's too smart for you to even notice what he's attempting to do. And that's why I love him. One of the many reasons that I love him. Listen, he and Bad Wolf Productions, Julie Gardner, Jane Tranter and Russell T Davies, yeah. So Bad Wolf Productions and Russell have come along like gangsters. They've wrestled control of Doctor Who from the BBC. That's what's happened. They're running things now, and they're going to do whatever the fuck they want. But the number one thing they're going to do, every decision they make will be for the best of Doctor Who. And they won't really comment about it in terms of political repercussions or what it means for society or what it means for this community or that community. They just want Doctor Who to be number one and be a great show for children, for adults and for everyone. And that's what Russell T Davies is. And that's why I'm not even concerned about who he's going to pick as the Doctor. Because whoever he picks, man, woman or beast, it will be the right decision. And it will be for the right reasons. If he picks a woman, he will pick a talented woman who deserves that role. If he picks a man, it will be someone who will be absolutely epic and awesome. Whoever it is, will be the right move. It's probably someone he's already worked with. I don't know. He'd already worked with Chris Eccleston and David Tennant. David Tennant was the right casting for Doctor Who in terms of the show, the audience, the marketing for the show. He was perfect. He worked on every level. It was genius casting. But Russell knew him so well, and he knew that he loved Doctor Who, but he knew he could make this work. They both sat together and decided what this Doctor would be, and they were both on the same page. That's what Russell did, that's what David did. So listen, this is the best decision that could have been made. Wrestling it out of the hands of people that simply don't care about what you and me care about. And that's Doctor Who. This has been the Doctor Who Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And of course, I'll be back again tomorrow for even more Doctor Who Daily. Until then, goodbye.